Okay, thank you very much. So we're starting with the first topic, that is how AI is revolutionizing land value creation in the Middle East. So I'm going to be straight to the point because we've got only 10 minutes on this fascinating topic. And to get straight to the point, AI makes land value creation much faster, much cheaper, and much more reliable. So it's as simple as that. So my name is Simon Ardonso. I'm the founder and CEO of AI Real Estate, or AIR for short, and that is an AI-powered software that runs feasibility studies for real estate development in an automated manner. So about 10 years ago, the white land tax law was designed to promote and incentivize landowners in Saudi Arabia to develop their land and deliver the much needed real estate assets across the whole kingdom. But so many landowners at that point of time, as it was before and as it is still today, simply don't know what to do with their land. So it's a key question. You have land, you're supposed to develop it, you want to develop it, but you are not sure what to do. So there is always this question that I'm being asked, we are being asked as consultants, what is the best use for my land? How can I ensure that I make a profitable investment, profitable returns? How can I be sure that the end users will like what I have built and I will be able to sell or rent whatever I have developed? So all these questions, if you want to solve them, typically what you do, you hire consultants, and they will do for you a feasibility study or a highest and best use study for the project. What is the problem? What are the problems? Typically, those consultants, they will take weeks, months to do this work. This work is expensive, and there is a fair share of the recommendations that come from these consultants that are somewhat more gut feel, as opposed to being data-driven. Thank you. And inevitably, when you have that, you introduce human bias as opposed to being driven by what the data is saying, what your market is saying through the data. And most of cases, what we've seen happen over and over again is that we see those reports ended up in a drawer with no action being taken on the recommendation that were provided. So how AI is helping here? So as I said, AI makes it much faster. Today with AI, what used to take months is taking just a few days. What used to take few days, it's taking minutes. So just before I founded AIR, about 3 years ago, I was working at Nakheel, one of the leading master developers in Dubai, famous for the Palm Jumeirah, Palm Jebel Ali. And there I was director of joint venture and hospitality. There I found myself in a need to prepare feasibility studies for investment committees in just a few days, whereas before, as my past as a consultant, as I said, we had weeks, we had months to prepare those reports. But when you are on the development side, you end up having much less time. You have to go straight to the point, and you have to prepare reports, financial models, presentation that back up your assumptions and your investment thesis. I actually remember one day when we had 3 feasibility studies to prepare for the next day and present to our investment committee. So obviously, with my team, we had a plan, we managed to prepare our financial model, we prepared the presentation, everything went well. But at that point of time, I was thinking, how come nobody has invented a software or some solution that make it easier, faster, and more reliable when it comes to the assumptions that we base our investment decision on. So today, what we've built at AIR with AIR software is a software that uses AI to run a myriad, thousands of development scenarios in a matter of minutes and we provide the fully completed reports, usually in a matter of few days. How do we do that? We do that with a series of workflows automation, as well as AI agents, and a lot of codes behind as well. So second point on how AI is making the land value creation much more reliable with data. So today there are massive amounts of data that are harvested by AI agents and intelligence, which in turn can be leveraged by another AI program to generate development recommendation on what to build, with what marketing positioning, with what pricing strategy. I remember about 12 years ago, I was here in Saudi Arabia. I was doing a feasibility study for a conference center project in Dammam. And I remember how difficult it was for me as a consultant at that time to do the research, to find data, to provide data-driven advice to our client on how to build that conference center. I had to go to about 30 different conference centers and hotels, spending about an hour or two every time visiting the facilities, speaking with the manager, speaking with the different parties involved in running the center. And most of the time I ended up with a lot of qualitative information, but few data points. So to do that study at that time, just a simple research exercise took me about a week, and at the end, I had a rather slim, short, simple data set to work from to make recommendations to our clients. Today, with AI at Air Software, we map out entire cities with all relevant buildings being introduced and created in our database. We collect for each building up to 50 different data points on property prices, rents, occupancy rates, transaction levels, architectural data points like how many stories are the building, how many square meter GFA, GLA, the footprint of the building, etc., as well as macroeconomic data, city level, national level, provincial level, and microeconomic data. And we combine all this data to generate a recommendation. How do we do that? We've developed scrappers that fetch data 24/7. So the AI never gets tired. It just collects data on a constant basis. We've developed programs that treat that data, clean that data, put it in the right format so that it can be after processed and used by our software in our system to infer some recommendation. We review that data. For the most critical points, there is still a human, a consultant, an analyst reviewing that data, cross-checking some key data points to make sure that everything is as sound as possible. Finally, the AI makes it cheaper. All this process that I have described, primarily because it's much faster, because you have much less human intervention, we're getting down from hundreds of thousands of dollars for some studies to few $1,000s to get a comprehensive feasibility study. So again, in my past, I was a consultant, as I say. I was heading consulting at JLL. I remember working on a large-scale project here, master plan. We were charging like millions of Saudi riyal for a 6-month project. And I remember thinking to myself then, but after this 6-month project, what is the reality? The market has changed. Trends have evolved, prices have evolved. There is actually a need to redo this work all over again. The same analysis. How does that make sense? If we want to stay aligned, we will need to do this type of exercise on a quarterly basis, monthly basis, much more frequent basis. And that's how we end up with those reports that I told about that are just put in a drawer and they are not acted upon. Today, at Air Software, we price any study at less than 40,000 Saudi riyal for a single project. And we also have a subscription model to update those reports on a quarterly basis with fresh data that has been collected just in the past quarter, so that developers can stay up to date with market condition, and any investment thesis, any project that they need to verify is being verified with the latest data. And because we're doing that, because we're able to bring down the price like this, we're able to serve a much larger, a much broader client base. Thank you very much for your attention, and feel free to come speak to me if you're interested in knowing how AI can help you with real estate feasibility studies.